Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Visual Studio Code or VS Code and how to use its basic functions to create your first HTML document. To download VS Code, it's free to use. Simply go to download VS Code, click on the first link, and you're going to download which one that you need for your system, Mac, Windows. After you've downloaded it, it should prompt you to create a shortcut to your desktop. If not, you'll have to navigate to the folder where it's at and click on this icon. Once you're in VS Code, you'll have this first Get Started page prompt up. There's three ways you can do it. You can open a folder here, an existing folder that you have a project in or repository from GitHub, or however your setup is going. Now, if you don't have an existing folder, you can use a file and then save it to a folder that you're going to create. The easiest way that we're going to do this today for this example is we're going to create a folder on our desktop. And what we're going to do, we can just call this VS Code or VS Projects. And we're going to navigate inside that file. And this is basically going to be our repository for all our files that we're going to create in VS Code. From here, we can create another folder. Basically, we're creating a new directory for our folders to be saved into. We're going to start this one by calling it like or hello world. I'm going to call it test. We can call this hello world. Once we have that created there, we can then open that folder from VS Code. So I'm going to show you through Explorer. You can also do it through File and then Open Folder. We'll navigate to our desktop and to the VS Projects and the Hello World folder. You don't have to click on Hello World. And you don't want to just click on VS Code because it's going to open that entire directory with all the files in there. What we want to be doing is creating files and only saving them within this folder, Hello World. We select on that folder, and then it should open that folder up in VS Code. So we're done with that. We can get rid of Get Started, and we can create our first HTML file. We'll call it index.html. Now from here, with VS Code, we have a shortcut key, so we don't have to type in all the HTML starting code. You can hit Shift-1 to get the exclamation point, and then once this pops up, we can then hit Enter. And it gives us our starter code. So our HTML, our head, our body, the meta, and the title documents that we need. And from here, we can literally open it up in our default web browser. And it's going to show it right now. It's just a blank page. So, to get text inside of there, we can simply type in hello world or anything that you want to be shown in your web page. You have to hit save after each one or else it's not going to show anything yet. So it's a good habit while you're typing in this to hit save often. It's always a good thing. Just in case anything happens, you'll have everything saved. And then as we can see, hello world is printed right there. Now, I can then add even more text, but without creating more or using more HTML tags, it's not going to do exactly what we want. Right here we hit return and we expect it to show underneath. But when we open it again, it does not do that. It just puts it right next to it. We're gonna have to be real specific with our code, tell it what we want to show and how we're gonna want it shown. Now, and as you see, like we'll have to keep creating, opening up new web browsers each time. But a good extension, the first one I downloaded honestly it's called Open with Live Server. So to get these extensions, VS Code has a huge selection of extensions that you can do, and users create them and allow us to use them here. So here we can just type in live server. And this is the one I use. So instead of right here, you see uninstalled because I already have it on here, but normally it would say install. And then once it's installed, it might prompt you to restart VS Code, which doesn't take much time. Then you'll be able to use the extension. All you have to do is right click, and instead of hitting open in default browser, we open with live server. The best part about this, every time you hit save, it's gonna show you your changes. So I'll just split that over here. So if I want to show this change, I just deleted it. And when I click save, it automatically goes over. I'm using Control S. I'm not going up here and hitting save each time. Using the shortcuts with VS is going to save you a lot of time and headache. Now, one thing that it didn't show, or it does show, that the in-live document, it's going to be automatic changes. So if I change this now, and I add hello world again down here, automatically shows here, but not with the open default browser option. So this extension is really good. You're going to be seeing live updates of everything as you're going through it. It's going to save you a lot of time opening and closing browsers. I would recommend an extension like this. You don't have to use this one. There are others to choose one, but that's the one I use personally. So now, every time we're hitting save, it's saving inside our repository. So when I go back into VS Project folder and go into Hello World, it has my index file here. And you can also view the page from here. You can just double click it and it'll pop up the page. It's not hosting on anything, so we're not at the level where everybody's just viewing it as you just saved it and then everybody's going to be able to see it. So that comes much later. You'll have to host it on our websites and whatnot. So with that, that's our basic setup. Using your shortcut keys and everything else, and adding in these extensions is going to be really helpful and later on. And I'll go more in depth on more extensions later on. But to create your first HTML file, this is all that you're going to need. So you can go ahead and memorize basically all the beginning tags, and it's fine. It'll work the same way, but this is just a shortcut to get it up and running. But as an editor, that's what I use right now for VS Code. It's very good editor. As what makes it really good is, one, it's free, and two, it has all these extensions. There are others, and everybody has their own preferences, but for me, this is what I use. So throughout the tutorial videos that I'll be showing, these are what I'm going to be using. So hope everybody enjoyed. And if you have any questions, please post them in the comments, and I'll try to respond to as many as I can. And if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see, I can try to make videos on that as well. Thank you very much, and have a good day.